Barangay Ginebra and the Phoenix Super LPG Fuel Masters set to slug it out tomorrow for that last spot in the Philippine Cup Quarterfinals. The two teams are going head-to-head in a do-or-die match. That's happening at 4:35 p.m. Ginebra and Phoenix, along with the Terra Firma Jeep, all finished the elimination round with 4 wins and 7 losses to tie for 8th place. But because of the quotient system, Terra Firma was eliminated from playoff contention. Ginebra came close to packing up themselves. That's because they lost their final game yesterday against the Meralco Bulls, 79-66. But the defending champions got a new lease on life thanks to the NorthPort Batang Pier, who beat the Alaska Aces 122-94. NorthPort's win meant that Ginebra got a better quotient than Terra Firma. Had the Batang Pier lost, then the Gin Kings would have been knocked out of the conference, ending their bid for back-to-back crowns. The winner of tomorrow's game between Ginebra and Phoenix will next face TNT Katropa in the quarterfinals. Here is the bracket. TNT holds a twice-to-beat edge over their opponents after finishing the elimination round as the top seed. The Meralco Bolts, which finished second, also gets a twice-to-beat advantage. They will face the 7th-seeded NLEX Road Warriors. The 3rd-seeded Magnolia Hotshots will then take on the 6th-seeded Rain or Shine Lasso Painters in a best-of-3 series, while the 4th seed, San Miguel Beermen, will battle NorthPort, also in a best-of-3 tilt. Now we've got that laid out for you. Joining us right now for an all-out preview of the Ginebra-Phoenix sudden match, as well as the upcoming quarterfinals, is basketball analyst Juan Banal. Juan, good morning. Welcome back.
Hey, Andre. Good morning, everyone.
Are you ready?
Exciting.
Yep. Let's get this show on the road before the weekend. Okay, still one spot to fill in the quarterfinals. And it's either yung Phoenix, Fuel Masters, or yung defending champions nga ng Philippine Conference na last bubble, yung Barangay Ginebra. They will play in that do-or-die match. Which team basically has the upper hand here? Phoenix, Ginebra?
Off the bat, I would say the healthier team looks to have the upper hand. Okay. Obviously, for Ginebra's case, Japet and Scotty are assumed to be out.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley, according to reports, is also nursing, although he played in the last game, but he is also nursing an injury.
Yikes.
So, Ginebra won last game, overcoming a 19-point deficit against Phoenix. Might not be easy in this case. They were complete, they were healthier, but this time around, Phoenix is well rested. Plus, they are complete. I think they have more players on the lineup compared to Ginebra. So off the bat, I would say that Phoenix has the upper hand because
of health.
Ginebra is not as complete and healthy.
Yeah, because of for sure. Pag complete lineup naman yan, kumbaga everybody
it's a different story.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so whoever wins itong do-or-die game between Phoenix and Ginebra, ang prize nila ay makakatapat nila ang top-seeded TNT Tropang Giga sa quarterfinals, kung saan TNT, of course, has that twice-to-beat advantage. Realistically, Juan, sino sa tingin mo I ask you, syempre mas healthy ang Phoenix, pero between Phoenix and Ginebra, saan sa tingin mo mas mahihirapan o mapapalaban ang TNT? Because both Ginebra and Phoenix lost to TNT in the elimination round.
With all things equal, I would say that obviously Ginebra would be a good matchup. Okay? Talent for talent, on paper, height, speed, and experience. I would say that Ginebra would be a good matchup if they were healthy. But that's not discounting also the fact that Phoenix is also a different breed. They can TNT has the height advantage over Phoenix, but it would be a good matchup on the guard position. On the wings, but both teams will give you each other's counterpart a hard time. If Phoenix can keep it a low-scoring ball game, they have to have an advantage, but they may have an advantage if they keep the scoring low, make it a defensive game rather than an offense-driven game. But if it becomes a shooting contest, Phoenix may not have the overall bandwidth that TNT has in terms of just pouring out the points and getting the different sources of those points in offense from different players.
And it will also be a great chess match. Tim Cone versus Chot Reyes. Maganda din. Topex Robinson versus Chot Reyes. But earlier this week, pinag-usapan natin, Juan, just how good TNT looks entering the quarterfinals. Ibang klase. So what will it take to upset this juggernaut team, the Tropang Giga, not once, but you have to beat them twice because of their advantage?
Um, I think the TNT likes playing hard-nosed defense. I saw that really in its full force when they played against Alaska. A good fight back might do the trick. If you take the fight to them, make them take looks that they aren't used to, push them out of their comfort zones. Because I could see guys like Mikey Williams just getting the shots that they like to take. The perimeter, the mid-range jumpers, they're getting to the spots that where they wanna take the shots, and they're making it. So if you can push them out of their comfort zone, and it will take granularity when it comes to scouting reports and tendencies to be able to exploit the weaknesses of each player. So again, you gotta run. You gotta tire them out. Don't let their defense set, because their half-court defense is really superb. And to beat them twice, you have to wear them out. That means you gotta play physical. You gotta challenge them in the paint. You gotta outwork them, and hopefully they will tire out. And maybe in the second game you can have that little advantage that you need to win over TNT.
Wow. You know what? I just realized, nung nabanggit mo ngay Mikey Williams, sabi ko, what if, no? Kung yung Mikey Williams at yung Stanley Pringle nagharap din sa playoffs. I mean, because Mikey, reminds me a little bit of Stanley Pringle. Okay, so yung mananalo dito sa TNT versus the 8th seed matchup will next face yung mananalo naman dun sa best of 3 quarterfinal series between the San Miguel Beermen against the NorthPort Batang Pier. At huling nagharap tong dalawang to, tagal na, July 25 pa won, with San Miguel winning by just 2 points. Wala pa sa bubble yon at that time, closed circuit pa format yon. So what can we expect this time around, especially in this playoff environment?
My personal opinion, this is probably one of the best matchups in this playoff bracket. You've got maturity versus youth, and then you've got Greg and Junmar, a perennial matchup, that we've seen all the way dates back to their college days. Right. And then you've got Bolick and CJ Perez matching up also, again touted as one of the top rookies when they came into the PBA. But if you were SMB, expect that the fight will be taken to you by this very, very confident NorthPort Batang.
Well, with us, our basketball analyst, Juan Banal, and we've been talking about the PBA playoffs. Juan, when we last spoke before this, you said isa sa mga magiging susi para sa San Miguel sa playoffs to release the Kraken, si Junmar Fajardo. Pero may pangtapat naman tong NorthPort. Di ba? Si Greg Zela, Greg Slaughter, although Greg did miss NorthPort's game yesterday because of an illness, sabi. But when I spoke to Coach Leo Austria, Juan, ang sabi niya, hindi pa daw 100% healthy itong si Junmar. Pero papunta na doon. What are your thoughts on this matchup that goes way back in their Sasafi days, and now they'll be facing each other again here in the playoffs?
I'm actually excited, but it's not a completely full-on matchup in the sense that, like Coach Leo said, Junmar isn't 100%, and we can see that, but we can see brilliances already of the Junmar that we know. When they played against Alaska, his minutes were still controlled, okay? But that didn't seem to be a problem for San Miguel, because you've got Mota Tua, who's really, one of the fears that I had when he moved to San Miguel, because he was playing so well in NorthPort. Then he moved to San Miguel, and I felt like, oh man, Mo's going to go back to how he used to play when he was in TNT. His confidence might drop again. Yeah. But that's not the case. Yeah. And now, so imagine having Mo in full force and then Junmar getting there. That's a scary San Miguel front court. But going back to the matchup, Greg versus Junmar, Greg, I think, will have the upper hand in this series, only because, Greg's confidence is so high. He's averaging 16.5 points per game, 10.7 rebounds, 2.3 blocks, and averaging 32 minutes per game. On the other hand, you've got Junmar. Junmar's averaging 11.8 points per game, 9.8 rebounds, 1.1 blocks, and 27 minutes per game. So you can see that they're on, just looking at the paper, lamang na lamang si Greg Slaughter sa matchup na to at this point. And Greg is more aggressive. You can see him freely moving in NorthPort compared to when he was in Ginebra, where he felt like he was put in a box, like you can only move and be in certain areas. Unlike here in NorthPort, he's able to do whatever he wants, and he's getting more comfortable doing that. And I think that's the plus of being in Coach Pido's system. And his presence, again, is valuable. I think more valuable to the team at this point compared to the value of Junmar in San Miguel. Okay? Because nga of the lineup that San Miguel has, and Mo has proven himself. So I would, in this matchup, if Junmar is not yet 100% in how we, the Junmar that we know, and the way Greg is playing and his confidence level, I think Greg has the upper hand in this matchup.
Yeah, and nabanggit mo nga, kumbaga, mas mobile itong si Greg. And, I think there's that chip on Greg's shoulder that, that there's something, he wants to prove something here. As for Junmar, he's still on his way to that 100% recovery. Nabanggit din ni Coach Leo, by the way, Juan, that San Miguel is hoping that by this weekend, makakabalik na si Alex Cabagnot. And Alex was still with the team when they won against NorthPort in that elimination round game. So how big of a factor now will Cabagnot be if he indeed gets back in this in time for this series? Although we're not sure how healthy he will be, but still having a crunch man like Alex Cabagnot against NorthPort will be a big factor.
Yeah, well, like what you said, Andre, we can't expect a lot. It would be unfair to expect a lot from Alex. If players and teams that are healthy coming into the bubble had to adjust and took them time, what more somebody that came from a long period of injury and then coming into the bubble, that's just another level and layer of adjustment for Alex. But I think what it can really bring to the team at this point is the confidence. Terrence is out. And the fact that you have a clutch player back on the lineup, you can still rely on him during, crucial parts of the game to make the right decisions for the team. He may not score as much, he may not take over the game as much as before, but making the right decisions at the right time in the game when you feel them in. I mean, again, with no disrespect to Zamar and the other guards of San Miguel, but Alex Cabagnot has a different kind of pedigree and experience that he brings to him. And it would be good, kahit man lang confidence booster, it would be good to have him back on the lineup, especially if you're already in the playoffs. So, again, the next question there is who will you sit out, right? In the finishing five of San Miguel lately has been Ross, Marshall, CJ, Mo, and Junmar. You don't even see Arwin anymore there, depending on the situation, right? So, we don't, that might still be the case. But if, push comes to shove, if you need the right decision maker, I think that's when you'll see Alex fielded onto the court.
Tama, pati iba din yung kumbaga psychological factor na may Alex Cabagnot ka on the floor, 'di ba? Kung ako kakampi ni Alex.
The rust, yung game rust, ang dami pa niyan.
Let's take a look at the bracket again and go to the other side where we've got the second seed. Ito, yung Meralco Bolts naman at number 2 facing the NLEX Road Warriors at number 7. And Meralco has that twice to beat advantage here. And we got a bit of a preview of this matchup earlier this week. One, di ba? With Meralco beating NLEX by just 3 points. May konting action pa in that game. Do you see the Bolts repeating over the Road Warriors here? Or do you see NLEX upsetting Meralco and having to beat them twice?
Well, Calvin Oftana was the name that you should mention. He was the lone problem for Meralco against NLEX. Without his output, the story may have been different. Meralco, on the other hand, has so much offensive power. You've got Alain Maliksi, you've got Chris Newsom, you've got Alvin Pasaol now playing really well, confidently. I mean, hindi naman nawala yata yung confidence si Alvin. Pero lumalabas na mas lalo ngayon. And then Mac Bello also, and then Nards Pinto also, just playing superb. Even Bong Quinto also. Diba? Raymond Almazan also is on that list. So ang daming pwedeng maging source ng offense for Meralco. And it might not be enough for Calvin Oftana to carry the load. You have to understand now he's a marked man, right?
Yes,
and
for sure.
He's gonna need a lot of help from Alas, from Cruz, from Kenyahan, and Trollian.
Well, nabanggit mo na nga. And yung pangalan niya, the former NCAA MVP, one of the biggest problems for Meralco during that game against NLEX was Calvin Oftana, number 3 pick in last year's draft. Breakout game for Oftana, 34 points. He nailed 8 3-pointers, breaking that 34-year-old record of the trigger man, Alan K. Dick, for the most triples by a rookie in a single game. Let's talk more about Calvin Oftana, what he brings to the table for Coach Yengyao, for NLEX, and just how important he will be in this quarterfinal matchup against Meralco, where like what you said, medyo na-expose na siya dito eh. Kumbaga, just given the ball, and the confidence of this kid is just sky high right now.
And you gotta give props to Coach Yengyao. He has a knack for doing that, for boosting the confidences of players and giving them the right amount of playing time to do that, and the confidence, even during crunch time or late games. That's why he rotates his players often. And he is a legit scorer, and we saw that how he confidently let go of those threes. And not only that, his 2-point field goal also, the way he got his way to the basket, there was just so much confidence in his movement. You don't feel like he's second guessing his actions, second guessing his steps. NLEX is known for spreading the wealth, in terms of minutes and points. Everyone plays equal minutes. Everyone gets equal share of the ball. And the upside of having Calvin Oftana shooting lights out in the last game is that he was able to spread the floor. That's why the big guys benefited from that. Raul Soyud benefited from that, being able to cut to the basket, finding and picking his spots, because the defense of Meralco had to open up because of Calvin Oftana's ability to shoot from the outside. But they need points. It was a high-scoring ball game, and NLEX will have to match the ability of Meralco to just bring in and let it rain.
Well, I've seen this kid play ever since in the NCAA, San Beda days. Ganyan talaga maglaro. No, may step back, may up fake pa, tapos titirahan ka. Simpleng-simple ang galaw ni Calvin Oftana. Juan, again, we'll take another quick break, but Juan Banal will still be with us. Balik tayo ngayon sa ating preview ng playoffs ng Philippine Cup 1. Yung mananalo naman dito, ito magandang series to. Between the Meralco and NLEX, makakaharap nila yung winner of the best-of-3 series between the Magnolia Hotshots and the Rain or Shine and Lasso Painters. Magnolia, yung higher seed dito, but it was Rain or Shine who prevailed during their elimination round game noong September 10th. Who has the team, which team has the edge here, just off the bat?
Ito yung this is the matchup that you would probably label under the category of Royal Rumble. Like, literally,
Bakbakan.
The matchups are amazing. It's going to be a physical game.
For sure.
Grind it out. Rain or Shine started the conference hot, and then Magnolia was kind of like your late bloomer. But matchups like Abueva and Mocon, Sanggalang and Santillan, Norwood and De La Rosa, Nambatak and Lee, and just looking at the bench, the list goes on and on. And then plus, obviously, the controversial trade of Lee and Yap is also in the picture.
Yep.
Diba? Rain or Shine will have to play everyone. Everyone will have to play well. The rookies will have to play well. They have to contribute to in offense and really dig deep. While Magnolia's big three, Lee, Abueva, and Sanggalang, will have to be just more than good. They have to be superb in this game to close this out.
Well, we've talked about Magnolia looking like they're peaking at the right time. Yun nga nabanggit ni Paul Lee when we had him on the show. What will it take for them to sustain this kind of momentum and overcome Rain or Shine, especially in this best-of-3 series?
In their matchup in the eliminations, the biggest lead was, I think, 5 points. And it was a close game. They were literally trading baskets after baskets. Nobody really getting the edge over the other. And yun nga, 5 points na yung naging biggest difference, because again, babawi yung kabilang team. Rain or Shine, as young as they are, they cannot miss a step. They have to make sure that they play well. They have to close out on those defensive gaps. And guys like JB Mohan will have to be consistent with their scoring. The outside shooting of Karakot should be there. Gabe should, I think, go beyond just really leading the team, but also contribute in terms of scoring. Bo Belga will also have to do the same thing. And Magnolia, on the other hand, as deep as their bench is, they have to be present. It's really going to be a grinded out series. Physically, they will be tested. Mentally, they will be tested. And the first person na bumitaw, the first team that actually slips, will end up losing, and it might spiral down from then on. So, but do expect really the full series And I recommend that this is something that you watch because it's going to be highly entertaining.
Ako nga, na-excite ako about this matchup eh. Sabi mo nga, Royal Rumble, bakbakan. How about yung rain or shine? Ano yung sa tingin mo mga, some keys for them to cool down the hot shots? So what should they do?
Well, consistency in offense. JV Mocon in this bubble and in the last bubble had high. He would play really well, double consistently. But then again, there would be games that he would completely disappear. So Mocon has to be consistent. Santillan, I saw his confidence already just blossoming in this bubble. And then Nambatak, there are a lot of games that he would just come out and play. Well, he plays the whole game, but you'll feel his presence only in clutch. But he needs to be present the entire game. I know he's more of the facilitator now for rain or shine, but offensively, they need him. They need to keep attacking the basket, keep breaking down the defense of Magnolia. They have to play good on-ball defense as well, because if you notice, Magnolia has a lot of good one-on-one players. Paulie plays good one-on-one. Ian Sangalang plays good one-on-one. So you need to make sure that on-ball defense is on point. But if you look at it, on paper, matchup-wise, they're almost equally or virtually identical, equally measured. Kumbaga, sukat na sukat yung dalawa.
Maganda talagang matchup na to. Kumbaga, mano-imano. Nakakatawa na banggit mo yung consistency because when we had JV Mocon years back here on the show, San Beda pa siya nun, tinanong ko siya, sabi niya consistency daw yung key din. So let's see if who will be more consistent in this matchup between Rain or Shine and Magnolia. Maraming salamat sa iyo, Juan. Enjoy your weekend, stay safe, and thank you again for joining us. We'll talk to you again soon. Exciting times in the PBA. Again, we just had basketball analyst Juan Banal here on the show. And